President Tinubu arrives Ogun State ahead of 8th day prayer ceremony for the late Awujale of Ijebuland. National Inland Waterways Authority sensitizes boat operators in Akwa Ibom and Ogun States on safety measures.
We need to re-inform the stakeholders, water users, maritime workers union, and all locals to be conscious of their safety on the waterways.
National Drug Law Enforcement Agency arrests 60-year-old drug kingpin after 7 years on wanted list. Hello and welcome to the news desk at 3 on NTA News24. We're live in Abuja. I am Dennis Adegunloye. President Bola Tinubu has arrived in Ogun State ahead of his visit to Ijebu-Ode to attend the 8th day prayer ceremony for the late Awujale of Ijebuland Oba Sikiru Kayode Adetona. The presidential 001 flight landed at the Gateway International Airport in the state at about 1:45 this Sunday afternoon. President Tinubu, accompanied by the First Lady, was received by a delegation of dignitaries led by the Ogun State Governor, Dapo Abiodun, Chairman of the Governors Forum, Abdulrahman Abdulrazak of Kwara State, and other governors in the southwest. He was greeted with military honors by detachments of the Nigerian Army. The president, who is proceeding to Ijebu-Ode, is expected to join Governor Dapo Abiodun and other dignitaries at the event, which will be held at the Dikwodina Stadium. Oba Adetona, who passed away on July 13th at the age of 91, was one of the country's longest-serving monarchs, having reigned for over 65 years. He was laid to rest the following day in Ijebu-Ode. Now, the clamour for an additional state in the southeast geopolitical zone resonated at the Constitution Review public hearing, which held in Enugu for Southeast Zone A, comprising Enugu, Ebonyi and Anambra states. National Assembly correspondent Mitaire Ikmen reports that the bill, seeking special seats for women, also received wide acceptance at the public hearing.
The enthusiasm to be part of the Constitution amendment process is visible as Nigerians converged on the International Conference Center in Enugu for the Southeast Zone A public hearing. Scores of bills for consideration seek to address developmental challenges and perceived imbalance in state and local government creation, as well as the quest for devolution of powers and constitutional role for the traditional institution. Adada State is one of several being proposed for the Southeast.
We've written copiously for you. We beg you. Time comes when God gives you a position that imitates his image, so that you have judgment over your fellow men.
It is very, very necessary to restore the functions of the traditional rulers and give us constitutional roles so that we may do better jobs and engage properly.
While the proposal on special seats for women is receiving rousing support, the organized labor is kicking against removal of minimum wage from the exclusive list.
You cannot come to Nigeria and leave it for states to decide what to pay, or local governments to decide what to pay. They can decide, but they should not go below minimum wage.
When you look at the constitution and the countries across Africa, you will discover that Nigeria is at the last ladder of female political representation in the parliament.
And the foundation for the unity of this country, of this great nation, lies on how seriously we handle this national assignment.
You can see that the people are eager to speak their mind. people are beginning to talk about those things that concern them.
So we are taking them back to the National Assembly so that we can continue the process to see which one will pass and which one will not pass.
As the Constitution Review Committees of the National Assembly round up the public hearings, citizens expect their relevant inputs to reflect in the laws that will emanate from the exercise. From the International Conference Center, Enugu, Mitaire Ikben, NTA News.
Meanwhile, women and civil society groups came in their numbers to push for an affirmative action through the passage of the Reserved Seats for Women Bill at a one-day Southwest Zonal public hearing on constitution review organised by the House of Representatives in Lagos. Musa Toliat reports that the clamour for states and local governments' creation also dominated memoranda submitted by participants from Lagos, Ogun and Oyo states.
Stakeholders came to the Constitution Review public hearing with different memorandum that is born out of pressing needs in their respective communities across Lagos, Ogun and Oyo states. Lagos State Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu, who was represented by its deputy Obafemi Hamzat, renewed the special status call for the state.
When you move your capital from a place to another, you do not abandon where you left. That is the principle, and that was what brought population and everything to Lagos. So we cannot just inherit the assets and forget the responsibility that goes with it.
Proponents of new state creation in Ogun and Oyo states have the backing of elder statesmen who constitute the implementation committee.
The marginalization of the Jebus, which has existed for so long, will be brought to an end through the creation of the Jebu state.
However, women groups forged a common front to demand for the passage of the Reserved Seats for Women Bill.
If passed, this particular bill is actually going to accelerate the sustainable development.
Can you imagine a man discussing issues of women, menstruation, hygiene, and maternal and child health care?
We want every state to have a woman representative as a senator, extra to the 3 existing senators that we have.
The call for state police and creation of more federal constituencies was also prominent.
Governors have also agreed to state police, so we only need the parliamentary work to add teeth to it.
It needs to come to the state level. Let each state come up with a structure that well secures them.
State houses of assembly have a vital role to play in the final outcome of the Constitution Review.
We stand by local government full autonomy.
We also want the Land Use Act brought down to each state level. We should have control of our waterways as well.
Chairman House of Representative Committee on Constitution Review sheds light on the next line of action by the National Assembly.
There's still going to be a conference committee. And if it is passed at the National Assembly, the requirement of the Constitution, the 2/3, we still have to even send it to the State House of Assembly for their scrutiny and concurrence.
The House of Representatives Committee assured stakeholders that no memorandum will be left unattended to. In Lagos, Musa Toliat, NTA News.
NIWA is sensitizing boat operators and other users of Akwa Ibom waterways to prioritize safety and security. The initiative, led by the Eket Area Office of NIWA, aims to create awareness across coastal local government areas of Akwa Ibom State. Yanime Uko reports.
Is part of NIWA's mandate and in line with the authority's gazetted Inland Waterways Transport Code. The campaign seeks to equip boat operators and water travelers with the necessary information to ensure their safety while using the waterways. Abubakar Watanafa, area manager of NIWA in Eket, emphasizes the importance of safety protocols, including maintaining a stable mindset, avoiding overloading, and wearing life jackets.
We need to re-inform the stakeholders, water users, Maritime Workers Union, and all locals to be conscious of their safety on the waterways.
Other stakeholders and water users commend the initiative calling for adherents to lay down rules and regulations on waterways operations.
I still want to use this forum, like I said, to appeal to the seafarers to also cooperate with us and other security agencies in ensuring that we are safe in the water by what? One, wearing our life vest. Issue of overloading is another thing.
Passengers need to be kitted with a life jacket before boarding the boat. And even the boat needs to have a fire extinguisher in case there's any fire outbreak while on sea.
Always wear life jackets while on water to ensure vessels are seaworthy and properly maintained, to avoid overloading and ensure safe passenger capacity.
The NIWA sensitization campaign with the theme Safety First is for the second quarter of the year 2025. Dianime Uko, NTA News.
Meanwhile, NTA correspondent Anthony Gandonu has taken a tour to a riverine community in Ogun State's Ogun East Senatorial District of the state to observe the activities of the people and level of compliance with waterway regulations.
Is one of the riverine communities in Ogun Waterside local government area of Ogun State with active use of waterways for daily livelihood such as fishing and transportation activities with less or no compliance with safety measures by both fishermen and transport operators. To prevent future disaster and ensure safety on Nigerian waterways, the National Inland Waterways Authority, Abeokuta Area Office, NIWA, took its 2025 sensitization campaign to the community with emphasis on proactiveness in prevention of flood disasters and boat mishaps.
This event is an important step towards safeguarding our community against the realities of flooding and ensuring that our precious waterways are navigated safely and sustainably.
Community leaders and other stakeholders who commended NIWA for the sensitization program demanded for federal government support for the provision of operational aid to reduce their hardship and save lives.
For giving us that orientation and information about the uses of the water and when the flood is around in our community. Said knowledge is power. So they have come in now to tell them that the life jacket is very, very important for them.
The highlight of the event was the demonstration of the use of the life jackets to reduce the risk of accidents for everyone using waterways. From Iwokun in Ogun Waterside local government area of Ogun State, Anthony Gandonu, NTA News.
This is the news desk at 3 on NTA News24. More reports after this break. Stay with us.
Let's have credible elections at the local government so that these credible people can manage the funds of local government properly. There are a lot of respected traditional rulers in the state who can say, look, enough of this thing. Mr. Governor, welcome. Thank you for coming. When you win, what will you do?
I was the first woman that mobilized women within the local government to form the National Council of Women Society by creating awareness in women that they must serve, they must be part of what is happening within their community.
If you stop expenditure on infrastructure, how do you now attract investments?
The state governors, the presidency, that the federal government and the local government are all waiting for revenue from crude oil.
Every state has something peculiar. So the emphasis now, if your local government has something peculiar to that particular local government, the emphasis should be keep producing that particular product.
We need to do three things. Prevent the ability of the terrorist groups to generate funding, their ability to recruit, and then their ability to access weapons.
The traditional ruler gives me a title. I sit in the front row in the church, or if I'm going to mosque and I'm calling people are passing in God's own house. What am I doing? I'm mentoring a new generation who think that the only way to be taken seriously is to be seen to have a lot of money.
Good Morning Nigeria, live every weekday between 7 a.m. and 9 a.m. on the network service of the NTA.
Welcome back. Operatives of a Special Operations Unit of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, have arrested a wanted 60-year-old drug kingpin, ending 7 years of evading the long arm of the law. Sawa Khalil Ibrahim brings us details.
The suspect, who was on the wanted list of NDLEA since 2019, was eventually nabbed at his hideout at the Lagos suburb while attempting to ship large quantities of cocaine and methamphetamine to the southeast and other parts of the country. In another arrest at the Lagos airport, NDLEA operatives at the export shed intercepted 17 parcels of skunk, a strain of cannabis weighing 1.70 kg, concealed in packs of popular cereal going to Pakistan as part of a consolidated cargo. The suspect has since been arrested. NDLEA operatives on Saturday, 19th July, raided a hotel in Lagos where different party drugs are distributed and sold. The raid followed credible intelligence and surveillance, which confirmed the suspect as the arrowhead of the drug network. At the time of the operation, 1.30 kilogram chocolate cannabis, 900 grams of gummies, and 22.9 grams of skunk were recovered from the suspect's room in the hotel, which runs as a family business, housing his mother and siblings. In Abuja, Sawa Khalil Ibrahim, NTA News.
Secretary to the Government of the Federation, George Akume, has called on Nigerians to embrace the nation's diversity as a source of strength and to continue working towards peace and unity. The SGF made the call during the 2025 convention of the Government Secondary School Otukpo Old Boys Association, held in Abuja. Thomas Ogbetere reports.
The 2025 convention of the Government Secondary School Otukpo Old Boys Association, themed Stronger Together, brought together members from across Nigeria in a joyful reunion held in Abuja. The event was filled with excitement and nostalgia as alumni who graduated between 20 and 40 years ago reunited, many seeing each other for the first time in decades amidst laughter, hugs, and shared memories. Old classmates reconnected, networked, and celebrated their shared history.
We have renovated the assembly hall where students used to gather, and they still gather. We have also provided water to some extent in the school. We have renovated libraries.
I didn't think or have a rethink about it, that one day I'll come and head my alma mater. We have produced players in the national team. We've produced 2 chief judges in Benue State. We produced a governor. The SGF today came out of that school.
So the essence of the alma mater is to see how they can give back to what the school are giving it to them.
In our school, then we had spiritual guidance, we had social guidance, we had academic counselors.
Representing the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, SGF, Senator George Akume, his Chief of Staff, Christopher Taka, emphasized the importance of peace and unity as a vital tool for national development. He urged Nigerians to embrace the country's diversity and work collectively for a more united and progressive nation.
So we must learn to value this nation. We must learn to know and teach our children we have no other nation but Nigeria.
Indeed, the 2025 convention of Government Secondary School Otukpo Old Boys Association was more than a reunion. It was a celebration of unity, brotherhood, and shared heritage. The event serves as a reminder that together, Nigerians can build a stronger, more united nation. In Abuja, Thomas Ogbetere, NTA News.
CD Hub, a non-governmental organization dedicated to promoting sustainable and community development, has released its midterm impact report. The report highlights the organization's progress in implementing its programs and projects, showcasing the positive impact it has had on the lives of individuals and communities. Shehu Mohammed Datti reports.
The affirmation of our collective commitment to the ideas that inspire the world of CD Hub.
Through its innovative approaches and collaborative partnership, CD Hub
has been working to address some of the most pressing challenges facing communities, including poverty, inequality, and lack of access to education and health care.
So what we really need to do now is to develop a next step for this particular document, to develop how it will be disseminated to all the policy makers, the politicians, even all the technical officers that are working either at the privates as well as public.
So this approach ensures that our work is not only strategic, but also deeply connected to the voices and priorities of the communities that we serve.
The midterm impact report provides a comprehensive overview of the organization's achievements, challenges, and lessons learned, offering insights into its future plans and strategies.
We need to do more. We need to work with the grassroots. We need to work with the underrepresented to understand, what does gender equality mean? What does empowerment mean? How do we ensure that we are able to improve our health indices as a nation, as a community, and all of that?
Joining the presentation via Zoom, the founder and chief executive of CDHOP gave a call to action after 3 years of impact on the project.
Is to remind us that reaching underserved communities and those who are marginalized, within the periphery shouldn't be, a secondary agenda. It should be something that we prioritize as a people, as a government, and as a civil society. So you could see why we are interested in making sure that we address things from the base, from the roots.
Forging ahead, CDHOP is craving government's nod on areas of operation and plans to reach out to the 6 geopolitical zones of the nation. In Abuja, Shu Muhammad Detti, NTA News.
This is the news desk at 3 on NTA News 24. Here's a recap of our top stories. President Tinubu arrives Ogun State ahead of 8th day prayer ceremony for the late Awujale of Ijebuland. National Inland Waterways Authority sensitizes boat operators in Akwa Ibom and Ogun states on safety measures.
We need to re-inform the stakeholders, water users, Maritime Workers Union, and all locals to be conscious of their safety on the waterways.
A National Drug Law Enforcement Agency arrests 60-year-old drug kingpin after 7 years on wanted list.
This is NTA News24.
Muslim scholars are raising concerns over what they describe as abominable acts, crimes, sins and incest that people commit in modern societies, calling for a change and renewal of positive attitudes. This was at this year's Hijra lecture organized by El Bira Muslim Association of Nigeria in Abuja. Tokwe Alabi reports.
The conference hall of Anwarul Huda Mosque, Area 1, Abuja, played host to members of El Birru, a Bira Muslim Association of Nigeria, for the 1447 Hijra lecture. The lecture brought together Muslim scholars with conversations on the Ummah as emphasized by Prophet Muhammad to draw the attention of Muslims on the observed areas of deviations from the Prophet's teachings.
What was happening before the Prophet was sent, what is now even happening is worse than that, because this deliberate attitude and behavior of our people to abandon what Allah has enshrined.
With incest becoming a recurring decimal and ritual killings registering its name as a major security threat, and the different crimes associated with the get-rich syndrome in the society, clerics believe deliberately taking pleasure in disobeying Allah should be changed.
The Ummah, the prophets envisage, must contribute their quota in developing their society and environment. And in fact, they must be part of anything that is positive and productive for the environment in which they live.
Expand the frontiers of knowledge. Tell people more about religion so that people will become more aware. In that, I think there will continue to be improvements.
Highlights of the event was a special prayer for the repose of the soul of Imam National Amir Abdul Yakin Maman, who returned to Allah some days to the Hijrah, the presentation and launching of the Hijrah calendar, as well as endowments for boreholes in Okene and Ogaminana Juma mosques in Kogi State.
That it's not just enough for you to say you are a Muslim, you worship, you pray. There are other things that needs to be done. I am taking home that giving is very, very important. It's an act of worship.
To fear Allah, to do what you are supposed to do, contribute to society, raise the less privileged, and build communities.
While raising concerns over taking pleasure to deliberately disobey Allah with never heard abominable crimes and incest, the Israel lecture harps on return to Prophet Muhammad's legacies. In Abuja, Tokwe Alabi, NTA News.
And that concludes the news desk at 3 on NTA News 24. Thanks for watching. I am Dennis Adigunloye.